How are you? How confident are you in knowing your life purpose? How intentional and effective are you at living your life purpose? It's one of these broad, vague terms that we talk about, and sometimes we mean different things by them, and we're not going to get into that today. But let's just start with a pop quiz. In the comments, write down the number that best describes you. Number 1, I'm not even sure I have a purpose or am worth having one. Number 2, I'm sure I have one, but I'm not certain what it is. Number 3, I know what I'm about and I have a few ideas of how I can carry it out, but I haven't landed on one yet. Number 4, I've got it, and I'm looking forward to the journey ahead as I figure out how to live it out in a way that is uniquely me. Number 5, I know what my calling is, and I love it, but life has shifted, and I'm reevaluating or restructuring my approach. So which of those would best describe you? And I suppose I could add the center, the 6, and that you, it would be, I love my life. Everything is perfect. Everything's aligned. I know what I'm doing and I've got it all down pat. You could add that one in there too. So I will look for your comments there. But let me move on to why this matters to me. Why is it important? In my love affair with purpose discovery back in my 20s, I loved this journey of discovering who am I, what am I about, why does it matter? And I loved that conversation with other people too. I loved this alive feeling that I got when their aha moment came. And it usually was preluded by confusion and this lostness and uncertainty. And I thought that it was pretty simple back then for me. I just thought you knew your purpose or you didn't. And if you did land on this is what my purpose is, you made goals and you aligned your life and you just did it. And it was that simple. But it wasn't. It turns out that, we've got emotions and desires and conflicting circumstances and sometimes clashing values and sometimes goals that didn't quite turn out the way we aimed for. And maybe purpose is more discovery, more complex than figuring out what you love in life and going for it. Maybe? What are your thoughts? Type that in the comment. Let me know. Not everyone I cared about, not everyone I met cared about having a purpose, and that baffled me. Some single friends were certain they knew their purpose. It was to get married, or some were married, or it was to have kids and raise kids, and they were really struggling because their life wasn't lining up that way. So did that mean they couldn't have a purpose? Other friends were so scared that they would choose the wrong thing in life and that they would miss God's will for their life and they would be forever punished. And so they just kind of kept scared and played safe. Other friends thought they'd chosen a degree or a career that meant they were realizing what they were longing for. They chose their career or they chose their degree and they finished it and they moved into it and suddenly realized the lifestyle and the expectations that went along with that weren't really what they wanted after all. It wasn't the lifestyle or the impact they wanted. And then there were the people that just seemed to float through life and they seemed to love whatever they did and they thrived in their goals and they were always working towards something. It just seemed they had this full, purposeful life. And they knew what their purpose was, and some could confidently articulate it. Some didn't really have words for it. They just seemed to live it. So what does that mean? What does that mean in life purpose? Does it matter? Does it matter if you have a calling or not? And I would say that it does. There are health studies that show we live better, healthier lives mentally, relationally, physically in our health when we have a sense of purpose. And so And then as I was coaching clients, I realized, oh, maybe it's not, do I have a purpose or not? Our whole life is meant around this growth. We aren't meant to this arrived feeling, this, I'm here and I've arrived, right? Maybe I thought that's what it was, but there's these changes and growth. We're meant to grow. And if we stay in one spot or in one expression or one way of living too long, it means maybe we're not growing. And maybe that's why we're restless or bored or feeling like something's off, like there's more for me, even if life is good, right? Have you ever felt that way? That maybe it's not even that life is a mess. Maybe that life is good, and yet you still want more. It's because we're made for growth. We're made for maturing and not just staying static in one spot. So what do we do with that? Well, I would love to hear from you. We're going to go through these 5 phases of not purpose discovery, but purpose, the phases of living out your purpose to the fullest as far as you understand it. Let's put it that way. All right. And so let in the comments which words resonate with you as I'm talking or which numbers do. Number 1 is the longing or the survival phase. And this is where you know it's time for a new level of awareness in your purpose, or it's just time to dream again when you're feeling trapped or listless or useless or empty or less than or undervalued. When you realize or recognize these feelings, your best step is to shed the comfort zone as the victor or a bystander just watching your story go by. And it's time to own it. It's time to stand in, and you need to step into a belief in yourself that you are worth the worth being valued, that you are valued, that you do have something to offer, even if you don't know what it is yet. It starts with a belief. And if you don't have that belief yet, then often it starts with staying around, hanging around people who do believe in you. Find I guarantee it, there are people who will believe in you. And if they aren't in your life right now, then you need to move in your circles to find out who are they, so you can borrow their life, so you can see life through their different eyes. And even though I was around people who believed in me at certain phases of my life, and I was second guessing it, I wasn't feeling believed in, even if I knew it with my head, I had to borrow God's belief in my life and realize and step into that and say, okay, I actually do believe God believes in me. He created me. He doesn't create junk. He must have created me for a purpose. So how do I step into that even if I don't feel it, believe it, live it yet? And that's how I had to start out. And so that's the first phase. Get out of survival phase and lean into that belief. Number 2 is the recognition or the discovery phase. And sometimes when we talk about our purpose or calling, we love to talk about the discovery phase. And let's see, what were my notes here? We can actually stay stuck here. And I think for a while I was in love with this stage of the discovery part. And we love all things new and this new aha moment and the revelation of it. And it's good to camp in here because it saturates in these embodies in these levels of our being when we realize, oh, this is how I'm unique. This is what I have to offer. Oh, other people aren't like this. Maybe this is a gift after all. And so it's this making this space for new self-awareness and affirming how you are and how you're wired and how you're not, what your strengths and weaknesses are, what lights you up, what drains you, what energizes you. And it's looking at all of these compilations and becoming aware and tuning into that. And your best step into that is to be honest and kind to yourself and look at those things. And you can look at refining actions so you can step in those more. Or maybe you're finding out, okay, what are areas I can live this out if, say, your job can't change now and align it, or there's just ways of looking at where in your life now is that lined up and you're flourishing in that, and where is it not, and you're just gathering this information with it. And that moves into looking at what are the options you want to consider. Are you in the right job? Are you in the right job description within the place you are? If you're running your own business, are you doing a ministry? Are you doing all of the things that you struggle in? Or is there a way that you can learn and delegate or bring more people who complement your gifts that you can thrive in that? Is your lifestyle lined up with how it energizes you? Are you using all of one part of your brain and not balancing it with other areas? What are some of the ways you can line your life up right now? And what are ways you can move towards in the future? And you're just at this stage, you're just looking, you're not making a decision. You're not saying this is what my direction is. You're just gathering your options. Level 3 is the invitation or the calling stage. And a calling is this this sense of beckoning outside of yourself for a greater story than just your happiness, than just living this perfect, happy idealistic life. There's this calling from outside of you that says, I was made for more, and others are going to be impacted by it in some way or other, whether it's your family, your legacy, your community, or people that are just on your heart. And so this is signified, it sparks with an idea, a burden, or a drive that just won't go away. Even it's probably starting from those options you're thinking about, and it might not be a tangible thing. I don't know what to do with this. Sometimes when we have that idea that won't go away, we don't know all the formation of it. We don't know what it's supposed to look like, so we don't turn it into a goal. Or we think we should turn it into a goal, and maybe it's not formed yet. And that's okay. You guard that, you nurture it, you incubate it, you be around people that understand it more. It's this in this stage of this calling stage, it's the ending of one expression maybe of your purpose. Maybe you were fully flourishing in one phase of your life, and things are shifting and it's time for a new season. Maybe you're desiring it, or maybe it ended for you with a death or a layoff or a move or just an end of part of yourself, and it's the beginning of a new God dream, and it's exploring that. Maybe it's a mission that you want to come alongside. You don't want to start anything. Maybe you're not a starter. Maybe you want to come alongside and help someone else carry theirs further because they were the starter, and you know how to refine it, keep it going forward, and you want to come alongside that mission of what you want to accomplish, lives you want to save, inspire, help, encourage. And so the best step for this phase is to hold this idea in your hand and to create this quiet space for it to percolate. And tune into that. Tune into the emotions and the questions and the wonderings. Get curious at this stage. Journal. Write down your prayers to God and listen and write down what He's saying to you about it. And just get curious. Write down all your obstacles and fears. Number 4 is acceptance. So right now we got to move from not just from curious, but from wondering and marveling. And at some point we need to take action on it. And that is the mission phase. It turns multiple ideas into, you know what, I'm going to zero in on this one. Merely knowing your purpose can give you a sense of security and assurance and belonging. It feels good knowing, oh, this is my thing. This is what I'm about. And sometimes we can stay there. Just this discovery of feeling found, of knowing, okay, this is my purpose. But you'll quickly get bored, or if you don't move into the action and carrying something out, there's the being part. This is who I am, and that is valuable. And that isn't always separate from it's not always apart from your calling. It's not always your calling. There's a mission that comes with, who you are and how you're wired. How is God inviting you into a greater story? And so you tend to feel at peace with that, but then at some point, you're excited about the potential and the possibilities. And that means stepping outside of your comfort zone. And if you think about it too long, like I am prone to do, if you're an overthinker, perfectionist, it's easy to stay there. And just maybe it's you make plans or you talk about it, but it's time to step into something. Try it out. Learn something. Sign up for a course. Take something that's going to help you explore. And this is where my purpose blossom comes in, when we explore that and fine tune your message, your heart, who the people, how are your skills, complement that, what skills need to be developed, who do you need alongside you to help make this happen, what kind of healing and growth maybe need to be released along the way, but yet what can you do in the meantime. And so it's learning the strategy, the systems, the skills, and the soul care in the mindset that you need to support that mission. And you'll make a plan and implement it and evaluate it and implement it and evaluate it and adapt it along the way. And you keep moving forward. And in this stage, curiosity, teachability, humble confidence, and action go a long way. You'll discover it along the way. Number 5, the phase is becoming, the alignment phase. So after you own your mission, it's time to grow in the understanding to accomplish the God dream, or the mission that's expressing your purpose. And this is why we have multiple missions. We have multiple facets of expressing our personality. You have different roles in your life. Whether you have this desire to write in one season and maybe become an author, or just express it in writing, and then all of a sudden that fades away and there's another expression. Maybe you are a new mom and suddenly there's a different expression. Your rhythms, your cadence in life has changed. And so how you express your purpose is different, and you have a different container for that. And maybe those old dreams come back one day later on. Maybe you find spaces to say, okay, I can't do all of these other things, but this writing is the expression of the purpose that I want to thrive in. Maybe it's something totally different. But this becoming stage, this is where, once you know a general sense, and then your specific purpose and your missions can change, then a lot of times we circle through this, stage 4 and stage 3 over and over again. Once we get really confident, and we just keep refining in these different seasons, because we are made for growth, and we discover new ways of expressing, and we discover new ways of saying, okay, I've mastered this, or this drains me now. Once I've learned it, it drains me. I need to find someone else who can come alongside and complement me in this. And so this could be, where are my notes? I'm losing my notes here because I'm getting ahead of myself. So in this phase, you're acknowledging what doesn't energize you the same way, and maybe you find a different approach to it. Maybe you're streamlining how you manage your resources, or your time, or manage your emails, or your networking and your contacts. You find different approaches and ways of doing that. You are realigning and evaluating how your actions and your lifestyle and your behaviors are aligned with your values. Often our values don't change. Sometimes they do. And sometimes it can feel off to say, oh, my values have shifted, or there's a conflict here. And we need to reevaluate and figure out, is there another way my purpose can be expressed and fulfilling in a different way, because my values are clashing. There's ways that we create a different strategic support system. So sometimes you need a new mentor that gives you a new vision for new growth, something new that you can aim for, because you haven't thought of a different way of thinking, or a different way that your dream or your mission could be realized. And so having someone, pull you up and outward and expand you, or different peers. Maybe you're a new complexity, or not in the same line of work. Maybe they're very different from you, and you learn to think a different way. And because of your becoming is expanding and growing and maturing, then your actions result differently out of that. And so that's this 5th phase of becoming and aligning, and that is a continual process. So, which phase do you believe you're in right now? I would love to know about it. What do you recognize in that? Words came out. And so when I call myself a purpose and a calling coach, that means I actually meet people at all of these stages. And often, actually, it's in phase 5 where people are confident. My clients are confident in their purpose. I know what I'm about. I just need help in aligning my life to it because I've got a lot going on. How do I simplify my life? How do I get focused on what really matters? And they're ready to go down there. But ultimately, at any stages of these purpose, when they're realizing I'm stuck in this phase and I want more, how do I move beyond that? And that's what I do as a coach, is help you evaluate, get clear, and move in those. Clear up the clutter in your life, in your mind, in your focus, and get focused on what you really want to focus on for this season, 3 months, and move into new levels of growth that way. And so that's what I'm about. If you need support in either identifying the season you're in or how to move forward, let's book a clarity call. 30 minutes, we'll just explore that together. And at the end, I'll share how we can work together. If we're a good fit, I'll be honest. Either way, you're going to get some clarity and feel inspired and energized to move forward in your next step. So I hope this was encouraging to you. Hopefully it was clarifying to you. I would love to hear, drop comments, say hi if you were watching the replay, and have a great day.